Welcome to Daily Crypto episode 22.
Great to be here.
Today, we're diving straight into what's moving the cryptocurrency market. We've got some pretty significant price shifts, key events happening, and, well, some interesting trends you really need to know about right now.
Absolutely. Let's maybe start with the big one, Bitcoin. It's currently trading around $102,966.
Okay.
That's showing a modest climb, about
Right.
1.5%. But the really big news here is that Bitcoin just smashed through the $100,000 mark.
Wow. Okay, let's unpack that. $100,000. That's a huge psychological level, isn't it? What fueled this latest push?
Well, there are some reports floating around suggesting a recent UK deal, apparently promoted by Trump, has spurred some increased activity.
Creativity, like what kind?
Cloud mining activities, specifically on a platform called Rich Miner. Cloud mining is basically renting computing power remotely.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't need the hardware yourself.
Exactly. And this kind of surge in activity, it could indicate more investment, more network participation. That often follows big news and can definitely add to upward momentum, especially after breaking such a key barrier like $100.
Okay, that makes sense. So a mix of news and increased network buzz pushing it past six figures. Now, Ethereum seems to be making a much bigger splash to that.
Oh, definitely. ETH is currently around $2,325. That's up a substantial, 13.5%?
13.5%, yeah.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is that it rallied about 20% just in the last 24 hours. Plus, there's some analysis suggesting Ethereum is, get this, at its most undervalued level compared to Bitcoin since way back in 2019.
Most undervalued relative to Bitcoin since 2019. Okay, now that's interesting. What metrics are pointing to that, and what could maybe trigger a shift there?
Yeah, so a key one is the ETH-BTC ratio. It's pretty low right now. Basically means you get less Bitcoin for your Ether compared to historical averages. And the reasons, well, could be different narratives, right? Bitcoin is digital gold, ETH as the application platform, plus specific developments in each ecosystem, a rebalancing, maybe significant Ethereum upgrades, or just a general market shift recognizing its utility.
So potentially some real value waiting to be unlocked in Ethereum.
Okay.
Beyond the big two, the market seems, well, pretty green today overall. BNB, Solana, XRP, all showing decent gains.
That's right. BNB is up about 2.3%, Solana's looking strong, up 7%, and XRP is up around 4.6%. It feels like a generally positive sentiment flowing through, different parts of the market.
Then we get to the meme coins, always known for their wild swings. Seen some action there, too.
Oh, yeah. Shiba Inu up close to 7%. Pepe, wow, a huge surge, over 20%.
20%.
Yeah. Bonk is up nearly 11%. Dogwoof Hat is climbing about 7.6%. And Popcat is up around 3.6%. But yeah, that Pepe jump over 20%, that's the standout.
20% is massive. What's possibly behind that kind of, well, explosion for Pepe?
Well, there's some speculation fueled by technical analysis. People are seeing what they call a double bottom pattern on the charts.
The technical pattern.
Exactly. And in TA, that pattern often suggests a trend might be reversing upwards, so traders jump in anticipating a rise. But, you have to remember with meme coins, it's so often driven by social hype and pure speculation, super volatile.
Right. High risk, high reward territory.
Totally. I mean, while Pepe's soaring, others like Doge and SHIB actually dipped a bit recently. And then you see something like Moonding apparently skyrocketing 200%. It just shows you the extreme and often temporary nature of these gains.
Extreme gains, extreme volatility.
Got it.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Broader market news.
Yeah.
Bitcoin breaking $100K is obviously huge, but what other key things should we be aware of?
Well, PancakeSwap, the decentralized exchange, a DX.
Yeah, allows peer-to-peer trading.
Right. Their 24-hour trading volume just hit $2.2 billion. That's a significant number.
2.2 billion. Wow.
Yeah, it really highlights the ongoing interest and, frankly, the growth in decentralized finance. People are using these platforms.
That is a massive amount flowing through DDEXs. Really speaks to DeFi adoption picking up steam.
Absolutely. And we're also seeing the traditional finance world adapting. Look at Coinbase. They're apparently set to launch 247 Bitcoin and Ethereum futures trading in the U.S.
24/7 futures. That's big for U.S. traders.
Yeah, futures are those contracts to buy or sell later, right? Offering them around the clock just makes it way more accessible for U.S. investors. Could definitely boost trading volumes.
More ways for people to get involved, institutions and retail alike. Okay. On the maybe slightly more cautious side, there's news about a lot of Bitcoin and Ethereum options expiring this Friday. $3 billion worth.
Yeah, that's the report. A $3 billion options expiry.
What does that usually mean for the market? More bumps.
It often introduces more volatility, yeah. When a large batch of options expire, traders have to adjust their positions, buy or sell the underlying asset, to settle things or roll over. That can cause noticeable price swings.
Okay, so someone to watch heading into the weekend. Good to know.
Yeah.
Now let's touch on regulation. Always a hot topic. News about U.S. senators wanting an investigation into a big Binance-Trump deal.
That's right. Reportedly a $2 billion deal under scrutiny.
What are the sort of potential ripple effects from that kind of attention?
Well, regulatory probes into major players like Binance, they always create a bit of uncertainty, don't they? It could lead to changes in how they operate, maybe fines, or just impact market mood as people react.
Right. And related to regulation, though, maybe more on the enforcement side, the Celsius founder, Alex Mashinsky, just got sentenced.
Yeah, quite a sentence, too. 12 years in prison for stealing $48 million. It's a stark reminder, really, about compliance and the serious legal consequences if you cross the line in this space.
Definitely underscores the need for rules and accountability. We're also seeing moves internationally, though. Brazil's main exchange, B3, they're planning to launch ETH and Solana futures and tweaking their Bitcoin contracts.
Correct. That's a pretty clear signal, I think, of growing institutional interest in South America, moving beyond just Bitcoin.
Expanding the menus, so to speak.
Exactly. It shows these assets are getting more integrated into traditional finance globally. And speaking globally, there was that proposal by a lawmaker in Taiwan suggesting adding Bitcoin to their national reserves.
Adding Bitcoin to national reserves. Wow, that's a significant step, potentially. A real vote of confidence.
It certainly suggests a growing recognition, even at a national level, but the regulatory path isn't always smooth, is it? We saw a bit of a setback for stablecoin rules in the U.S.
Ah, yes, the Genius Act. What happened there?
Well, the Senate voted against advancing it. That was the bill aiming to set up a framework for stablecoins, the dollar-pegged cryptos. So yeah, it shows there are still hurdles, still challenges in figuring out how to regulate these important assets, at least in the U.S.
Okay, so a mixed bag on regulation.
Yeah.
Progress here, roadblocks there. Now let's get into a couple of the more, shall we say, intriguing stories. This report about traders making nearly $100 million on a meme coin called Melania, buying just before launch.
Yeah, that one definitely raises eyebrows, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Making that kind of money with that kind of timing, it screams potential insider info or, market manipulation, really highlights the risks in the more speculative corners of crypto and the need for transparency.
Yeah, feels like something needs a closer look. Okay, but on a more positive, constructive note.
Yeah.
Blockchain tech is being used for more than just trading coins, right?
Absolutely. There's that initiative by IOTA and some global partners. They're launching a blockchain trade platform.
For international trade.
Yeah, the idea is to make it easier, cheaper, more streamlined using blockchain. It's a great example of how this underlying tech, the distributed ledger, can actually improve efficiency in, all sorts of industries beyond finance.
Okay, so wrapping things up. It's been quite a snapshot. From major price surges in Bitcoin and ETH, the wild ride of meme coins like Pepe, to crucial regulatory moves in these, innovative tech applications. The crypto space just keeps moving fast.
It really does. And what's fascinating is how it all connects, The price action, the regulations, the real-world uses, they all influence each other. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? How are these forces going to shape what comes next for crypto adoption and innovation?
A lot to think about. Join Daily Crypto for more real-time market updates.